discard of the machine as an image and an inspiration, exchange now for the organism.
Yes, biology takes over from technology. I think our first discussions and what we drew us was the fact that we were both looking for a way forward.
Yeah.
And not just the accepted way forward, but our way forward.
New concept, new details, new technology, chance taking.
I wanted to find a way which would continue with modern, because I am about modern, we are about the modernity.
Right.
But I didn't want to be the same as the masters who were so dominant and extremely important, but I didn't want to be a copy. I learned from them. And I think that's where I was attracted to your work.
Yeah. That is the bond. That's a wonderful thing. I couldn't have said it more exactly. Throwing ourselves into a new unsolved problems, solved in a new way. Try to distance yourself, not only from the profession, but from yourself as well.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, it's a fascinating profession because, of course, we're both the science and an art. That's the art side, where it starts to have a rhythm, where it starts to have a poetry, a music, these things, which is whatever one's doing, one tries. And that balance between the two are very interesting.
Few things are very clear about the late history, moving from statics to kinetics to cybernetics, boom, boom, boom. From heavy to light.
Yes.
From heavy material to dematerialized.
Which I love, Joe.
We always talked about that.
Yes. I mean, I think your progress is very exciting. I mean, moving from your Dublin embassy, which was very interesting but quite heavy, and then moving through to your a much more piece-oriented architecture where there were pieces put together, as we saw, and then going into this very lighter and lighter. And I thought it was a fantastic progression. I hope I've got another 10 years to catch you up. I'm going to try.
Oh, brothers, wow.
Just looking at this wonderful building of yours here. You know, it's a fantastic building.
Well, it took 3 years to put together. I had to change my vocabulary altogether from all heavies to mostly lights, a few heavies left, and non-compositional.
Yes.
Throw the whole book away. But it has an order to it, as you know. It's tricentrist. But when you go between the separate centers, they do not relate.
But there is an order in that. You know, and however abstract, there is an order within that order.
Now this was conceived 65, of a drawing of it 65. It wasn't built until 70, 71. Marxism then sought out a New York type architect. He's interested, first of all, in the relationship of the performing actors on stage and the audience. So I was the last one to arrive on that, and I liked the way that worked out. Your buildings are lighter,
yes, our buildings
and stronger, and
but it's not easy.
More transparent.
Not easy. I mean, I think that this is not a great age for experimentation. I mean, I think also the real heart of the problem is that the States, which is still just about the most important nation.
You think it's sort of...
It's more classically. Well, the buildings all around here, you can see that, you know, an office tower is a rectangle with a core in the middle. And the architect's role is what? To do something to the corners. And that's where the enemy of the imagination lies.
You think experimental is over for a while?
I think that there are a lot of people who are manipulating form, and some of them do it very well. But I think in true experiment, the words of where you think of experimental, where you're looking at biotechnology, let's say, and microtechnology, I think there's less of that today. John, you're one of the great architects. You are truly one of, and more important, you're one of the great explorers. And I think that's really important. You have freed yourself. I mean, I think there's some tremendous thinking going on here, which we have all absorbed.
These things could be, some of them, built.
Yes.
I care to go into this thing or back out if you don't have some responsibility as how it works or how it could be made to work, of changing the positive and negative forms to line up with this when they're all pulling or
Repel.
repellent, yeah. And that can be regulated with a selector as you go into this thing.
I think that's wonderful.
And you get that.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the whole thing about it, when buildings begin to become like biotechnology, robots and so on, or as you say, nano, all that is tremendously interesting. I mean, I love this sort of.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing.
That can move as well.
Yeah. That's tremendous. You see, then that's.
Yeah. It's.
Yes. Yes. It's sort of hasn't changed. That, I mean, it has changed, but we've learned from Leonardo.
Right.
No, I think it's fantastic. And I love this. The more, in many ways, the more experimental it is, the more exciting for me. Because I take those ideas, I can sort of, I make use of those ideas, and they feed into my ideas. Something else here. Yeah, there's that. I think it's fantastic. No, these are terrific. And the scale elements.
Well, this is after I retired. I just said I've lost my office. So I gave myself a fight talk. I said, get off your ass. Give yourself 1 week to describe 5 different ways of building. And I did it. And I developed them, of course, over 2 decades or so. But it was not a retirement, it was a commencement.
Yes, I don't believe it.
This could be built.
Yes, oh,
with
more and more.
With, we say, pumps to equalize the pressures here so it doesn't collapse. Without that, you couldn't do it. This could be done. They're doing it in Japan.
Are they?
This is a levitator, you see this?
Yeah, I did remember.
They do it horizontally,
Yeah.
vertically, or on an angle. And I said, let's make it serpentine.
Yeah, that's terrific.
And then I think this was presented to somebody in the United States. And the building inspector said, well, where's your
Fire escape.
where's your shaft, your elevator shaft? Well, I don't have one. And then the chap stands up and says, gentlemen, I don't think we have anything more to talk about.
But you see, but this is what, 30 years ago? It's as modern as anything we have today.
Yeah.
More modern than anything we have today.
Oh, well.
Technology, yeah. Yeah.
That's, yeah.
It's wonderful. This is really, really wonderful. Yeah. Do you ever lecture?
I lectured in The Hague and
Really?
Copenhagen, and 3 times in London or so. And I was lecturing in London, goodness, decades ago, and I described the kind of a building that might be organic. And a young girl went up to the platform and she said, how about DNA? Now that was, what, 20 years ago?
Yeah, very good. Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Wonderful.
No, the link between biology and therefore then nanotechnology. I'm sure that this future, the near future, what's that, next 100 years, will be towards nanotechnology and biotechnology. We will move from hard-edged electronic technology to strong effects on our next generation of buildings and architects. Hopefully we'll have. Otherwise we'll continue like these, doing the same thing everywhere.
So you know the process that you put in a vat.
Yes.
The molecules and so.
How they mix it.
And a code devised by a computer, which is analogous to DNA, but is mechanical and not growth of cells.
Yes.
And then a small house in a day and a half will go up. Then it can take it all down.
No, that's
and then have it ready for what do you say, recycling.
Exactly. No waste, no energy.
They take the energy from the air, from water, and from the earth, dirt-free. We'll never know it, I mean, we won't, but to be concerned about the development of that is to be in touch with something that supports us in our enthusiasm. We're talking about nano-architecture. There can be a real relationship of DNA in nature and the artificial or the analogous by positive and negative input, if that's the way to say it. Now that's real.
Yes, yes. Synergy in architecture as synergy within life. You know, it's part of the critical part of
Yeah. We'll meet 100 years from now, shall we?
We'll meet in 100 years too. But I do believe it's a wonderful word.
Aye.
And if we don't get it right, climate change will destroy us. So we've got to do something.
Oh my goodness. Aye.
And I look to our next meeting to
Yes, indeed.
discussing the next.
When will we be? Maybe I'll make it to London.
Come to London.